Right, welcome to RRL F2 Season 3 Round 5 at the Imola Grand Prix. Well, we are here for the fifth round of Formula 2, continuing on, in our Formula 2 season. As always, we will have a one-shot qualifying, followed by a 50% feature race. So this will take a bit less than an hour, about 45 minutes, which, it takes that amount of time pretty much every week. So you should be used to it by now. And there we go, we've loaded into qualifying, all the drivers are ready to go, hopefully. Let's go on board with Dean Fehlen. He has won the last few races. He won at Monaco, he won at France, and he's actually the championship leader right now, even though he didn't race in the first two races of the season. So he's been showing some great form in the recent Grand Prix, or not Grand Prix, recent races. Obviously Formula 2 races are not Grand Prix. So let's see if he can repeat his past successes and take home another victory today at Imola. Sully actually is ahead of him right now, but it might be close between those two. I actually have to turn down the volume for... I should have probably done this before. Why? Oh, well, I'll just turn down to 2 then, if it was already at 4. There we go, this should be better. Dean is now back in the lead of the qualifying session here as Sully. Although it's very close between them, you can see Sully and Dean swapping places pretty much the entire time. Now it's too quiet, I'm sorry about this. Oh, Dean has made a mistake, you could see in the background, just past the menus basically. And Sully is taking the lead. Which of them will take pole position here at Imola? It's very close between the two of them. Sully is now about to enter the final corner. Dean will probably be doing the same at this point in time. Who will take home pole position here at Imola? 4 points obviously, so a very crucial qualifying session. And it will be Sully! 25.2 followed by 25.3 from Dean. Look at that gap. 1/10, a bit more than 1/10 between them. While Aldrich finishes in P3, followed by Gromit Cup with less than half a tenth, or maybe a bit more than half a tenth, between them in the fight for P3 and 4. But Sully takes home pole position and the first 4 points of the weekend. So he might be on for a bit of a comeback. This could be his way back into the championship lead. We've got, well, Aldrich in P3 and Gromit Cup in P4, as already mentioned. Then KSA in P5, followed by Folalol in P6. And then actually Jules Valentine, Deadly Mosquito, Sean Moole and Seb all not having set a lap time. I assume they invalidated their laps somewhere on the racetrack, just running a bit wide or cutting a corner. It's very easy on strict to invalidate your lap, and then you only have one chance. Yeah, that's it. You just one mistake pretty much, and your lap is over. There we go, first drivers for the lap. 30 seconds to go until we see the formation lap. Then we'll see what tire strategies the drivers have gone for. They were using the soft compound of tire in qualifying. So we'll see what the choices are. Will the drivers be starting on softs or, well, what's the harder compound? Would it be mediums or hards? I'm not sure what the tire compounds are. I can see mediums on Sunny Sky immediately. Let's have a look. We've got mediums on all cars apart from Gromit Cup and Folalol. So interesting, we're seeing pretty much the entire grid apart from 2 cars starting on the harder compound of tire on the mediums and then wanting to go to the softs later on. Now that could be risky in case there's an early safety car and, well, they can't make it to the end on softs from here. But if there was an early safety car, Gromit Cup and Folalol could probably pit for mediums and make it to the end. But you can't pit for softs and make it to the end, I'm pretty sure. So, well then, if the race goes normally though, there might be a disadvantage because I believe the, well, in my opinion, starting a medium is the better choice if you don't have a safety car. Because early on you can't really use pace of the softs anyway, you're just stuck in traffic. Most of the time you will be stuck in traffic. So it's just more worth it to have the soft at the end when the field is more spread out. And you will be able to actually make up the time. Although I guess if you're fighting early on, as Government Cup almost hits Aldrich, you can make up places with the soft compound tire and then defend later. Defending might be easier than overtaking, but the pace difference in your tires is very, very big, so you really can't defend against better tires. Contact made between Government Cup and Forlol, I believe, there. Although, apparently not, they both haven't been disqualified. They may have just about got away with that one. We've got a bit of a separation from the field here, which is interesting to see. Not sure why this is happening. Government Cup is going very, very slowly there. Deadly Mosquito is the last car in the queue. The entire grid is pretty much in the wrong order at this point. You're not supposed to pass people under formation lap, but I guess these guys didn't get a memo. And once Deadly Mosquito is lined up in P8, we will be ready to start the race. 18 laps here at Imola for the something something made in Italy Grand Prix. I don't know the entire name. It's way too long for me to remember, sorry. And there we go, Deadly Mosquito is now lined up. And we'll go and have a look at the front. Sully leading the way from Dean and Aldrich, Government Cup in P4, KSA P5. Those are your top 5 cars right now. Who will be leading the race down into turn 1? There we go. 5 red lights are on. Ready for the race start. And it's lights out and away we go. Race is started. Looking like a decent start from Dean as he seems to rocket into a lead. Or at least pulling alongside Sully. Dean with the outside line in turn 1. Will he be able to get past Sully here? Dean on the outside, Sully on the inside, and Dean goes right around the outside, but he gets onto the curb, and Dean is spun around! Dean has been spun around after contact with Sully! And that is massive for the championship. Another car off. Who was that? KSA! KSA out of the race. Dean having spun around. What a race start. We've got one of the race leaders in the wall. And another one out of the race who started in the top 5. Government Cup now making a move for P2 using that soft compound tire. Fighting with Aldrich over P2 while Sully is pulling away at the front. 1.6 seconds to gap. And Government Cup is able to go around the outside. Or is he? Yes, he is. Using that soft compound tire to good use. Seb looking up the inside of Aldrich, but he decides against it. And now Jules Valentine trying to sneak one up the inside as Aldrich loses the car and loses 2 places. Now Seb losing the car and also gets spun around there as he has made some contact trying to rejoin the track. Seb is in the wall. Dean is already caught up to this pack as he now goes down the inside of Deadly Mosquito. There's a car going off somewhere else. Who was that? That seems to be Sean Moore. Lots of chaos going on. Sean Moore's gotten the 3-3 on time penalty. Dean already back up into P7, so he's making good progress here. After his early spin, doesn't seem to be any damage on his car. At least not significant enough to slow him down. I need to slow down. As he now is looking for a move on Fullenall, which he does get done as he takes the outside line over the main straight. Goes very wide there, leaves a lot of space for him. But it is enough for him to move back up into P6. And with Sean Muller having a penalty, he's already in an effective P5 as there's now some contact between Fullenall and his teammate Dean Phelan. I think I saw some wing damage on Fullenall's car as well. I guess we'll see how his pace develops in the next coming corners. And yeah, you can see, yep, you can actually see in the front left. End plate missing. Seb has spun around. Hits the wall with the rear as well. That would probably not be good for the rear wing. Fullenall definitely dropping back between Dean, behind Dean. And you can see the wing damage is really impacting him. He has to be a lot slower through the corners, be more careful, avoiding going off even more, and potentially getting more wing damage or penalties as well. As Sean Moore is spun, coming out of Aqua Minerali, and he's down into P8. As now Jules Valentine has gone past Comet Cup. How's that happened? Comet Cup had a pretty big lead over Jules Valentine. And he's now coming back at him. Oh, so close. Comet Cup goes around the side, but Comet Cup has wing damage, you can see, as well as Jules Valentine is out of session. Jules Valentine has disconnected from the race. I'll try and invite him back. Hopefully he can get back in quickly. Come on, invite's load. It won't let me invite him. Brilliant. No, it says he's in. He's not in. He continues to drop back. DRS has now been enabled. Dean is already up into P4 now. Look at this Dean with a brilliant comeback in this race. Already on the back of the podium after his spin at turn 1. As he locks the rears. Oh, that was very, very dangerous, but he just about managed to hold onto that car. But I think I'm going to be seeing a lot more of that, especially on a soft tire when they may overheat a bit. I'm not sure how much temperatures are an issue in these cars, or in this track specifically as well. I'm gonna try and invite... Oh, there's a car spinning! There's a car spinning, I just saw it! Aldrich has spun, and he loses the place to Dean and to Gilles Valentine. Alright, let's try again to invite Gilles Valentine. Hopefully this time the game will actually let me invite him. Or not the game, the there we go. PlayStation system. Yeah, send them a new invite, hopefully he can get back in quickly. As Dean gets a penalty, you could definitely see that was a bit of a corner cut there at the second last corner. And that might cost him, as he's now looking to get past Comet Cup as Sully gets fast of the race. Using that DRS, taking the fast lap, and flies right past Comet Cup. No chance for him. And Dean moves himself back up into P2, the 6-second gap to Sully, as Gilles Valentine is now back in the session. He has dropped down to P5. As Comet Cup goes into the gravel! Oh, he just about managed to keep it going there. Aldrich and Deadly Mosquito were fighting over P6 here. And then now gonna get past the AI car of Gilles Valentine, who hasn't been able to take control of the car just yet. He hopefully will soon. And there we go, Gilles Valentine back in the session. And he's dropped from, I believe, P3 to P6 as he's immediately looking for a move on Aldrich. You can see Deadly Mosquito and Sean Moole behind him as well, so it's gonna fight from P5 all the way to P8. Between these drivers here, Fololol not far up the road as well. So pretty much we might see people fighting all the way from P4 to P8 for the rest of this race, hopefully. We can't see the gaps right now, it's a bit annoying. I'd like to know if Dean is catching Sully or not. Gilles Valentine is getting very close to Aldrich here, going into the chicane, but he's a bit too far behind. To send one up the inside, but he doesn't need to, as Aldrich loses the car in the chicane. Goes into the wall as well, that might be some wing damage, and he's dropped down to P8. As now Gilles Valentine has no front wing! What's happened here? Gilles Valentine has no front wing! He must have crashed while we were watching Aldrich. Absolute chaos at the moment as Aldrich gets a penalty. Gonna be seeing Gilles Valentine go into the pit lane, I assume. Yeah, would have been very interesting if he didn't. And he gets a penalty as well for speeding in the pit lane. Well, the battle we had over P5 to P8 is is broken up in about half a lap. So not much of that we're gonna be seeing anymore. 4.5 seconds the gap from Dean to Sully. I guess we'll see if he can catch him or not by the end of the race. He has to pull out a 3-second gap as well, since Sully doesn't have a penalty. So Dean could be in trouble here if he wants to win this race. But, I mean, even the P2 after that crash at turn 1 would be an amazing achievement for him. As he goes off at the chicane there. Might have been another warning for him. Gilles Valentine coming out of the pits in last place there. We've got a spinning car of Grommet Cup. Grommet Cup is spun at the chicane. Deadly Mosquito seems to have spun as well as he's lost the position to Aldrich. And now Fololol is getting past Grommet Cup. Moves himself into P3, up into the podium places, but you can see both of them have damage. Fololol on the left hand side and Grommet Cup on the right side. So this could be an interesting dynamic with one driver being fast in left-handers and the one in right-handers. That's certainly gonna be interesting. Sean Moole, I believe, doesn't have damage, so he will probably be catching them. As now Grommet Cup wants to get back past Fololol, up into P3 once again. So they're both being very cautious here from the first couple of corners. Sean Moole down to 1.5 seconds gap. He will definitely Well, the soft tires might start to drop off as well, so he should be catching them, especially with the wing damage. And he is, you can see how much time he's gained. Half a second through that Villeneuve chicane there. And he is right in the back of Fullerol now. Fullerol not having DRS from Comet Cup either. So Sean Moole now in a good spot to get himself up into P4 on the main straight, or perhaps even earlier if he can send one up the inside, perhaps going into the chicane. But I'm not sure that would really be a wise maneuver, considering that the DRS is coming up and Fullerol might be able to go for a counter attack if he does that. So let's see, will he go for a move up the inside, or maybe around the outside? He's having a look, but he's thought better of it. Staying behind Fullerol for now, and staying in P5, but once we go onto the main straight, I expect him to go for a move. He is clearly faster right now, although he does have a penalty, which he has to, he has to pull that 3-second gap, if he wants to actually get that position in the end. But I believe he will be able to. So we're gonna see the DRS open up now. Will he go for a move? He should be able to. And he's gonna take the inside line into turn 1. And he gets past easily. Still on the main straight, doesn't even have to do it under braking. Sean Moole moves into P4. There's a bit of contact was made between the two of them. Fullerol maybe having a brake a bit too late there. And immediately loses a full second to Sean Moole, who's now starting to chase down Comet Cup. Obviously Comet Cup having wing damage as well, which could be crucial in the fight for the final podium spot between Comet Cup and Sean Moole. Meanwhile at the front, the gap is stabilizing at around 5 seconds. So it doesn't seem like Dean can catch Sully. I believe we might have had a really good battle if they hadn't had a crash at turn 1. But, well, in this situation I don't think Dean will be able to catch back up. And this might actually hand Sully the championship lead as well. I'm not sure if it will. I have to take a look at the standings to actually determine who might be ahead after this race. If they would load. Just having some internet problems right now, which is brilliant. As Dean is in the pits, going for soft tires. Quite the early pit stop. 10 laps on softs from here on out, I assume then. I am surprised he would pit that early. I guess he's trying to undercut Sully to get back into DRS range. Fullerol in the pits as well, and he gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pits. Definitely not what he would have wanted. He's actually having to double sync with his teammate. Hopefully this doesn't cost him any time, and it shouldn't. And he's going on to mediums. 5-second penalty for Sepp for speeding the pit lane, so he's in the pits as well now. Where would he come out in relation to Jules Valentine? Sepp getting a wing change as well. Well, I still haven't been able to actually load up the standings on Discord. I don't know what's going on right now, if Discord's having server issues or if I'm having internet connection issues. So we're seeing the pit crew get Sepp ready to go racing again. He leaves the pit box. Jules Valentine just coming out the final corner. Who will come out ahead out of those two? Jules Valentine just now will pass him. Yes, he will. Jules Valentine moves up into P8, Sepp down into P9. Comet Cup actually pulling away from Sean Moole right now, so even though he has the wing damage, he is able to pull a gap. And, well, I don't think Sean Moole has wing damage. I don't see any, so it isn't as significant as Comet Cup's, because you can visually see on Comet Cup front wing, there on the front right, the end plate is missing, and you can see on the other side of the front wing how it's supposed to look as he goes into the pits. Will we see a wing change? Jules Valentine's out the race! He's crashed! Coming out of this corner right here, will we see his car on the right, left? There we go, left hand side, Jules Valentine's car. Parked on the side of the road, missing a tire. Did Comet Cup change? No, Comet Cup did not change his wing, so he's continuing on with the wing damage. Very interesting. Dean will now pass both Comet Cup and Aldrich. Deadly Mosquito in the pit lane as well. Seeing soft tires on Aldrich's car. Comet Cup leaving the pits on mediums. And there we go, Comet Cup finally out of the pits now. Aldrich will be quite some way behind him. There comes Fullerol. Will Fullerol get past Aldrich here? Yes, he will. Just about. Fullerol moves into P5. But Aldrich now on the soft tires. will have a pace advantage over Fulolol. So I expect him to be able to catch up to him in the next couple of laps. 1.6 seconds gap right now. Sully is in the pit lane. Sully now in the pits. The big question is, how big will this gap to Dean be? Will it be big enough to still be secure? He might have lost maybe 2 seconds, because the softs do actually have quite a big advantage around here. Or just in general, in Formula 2, softs are insanely quick. Sully now. He has already gotten his tires changed and he will leave the pits. Where is the actual pit lane? It's way later than you would think. He is still having to go the pit limit speed. And there we go. Sully has finally left the pits. And you can now see Dean appear in the background. He is definitely gotten closer. Gap is down to 2.0 seconds. He's gained 3 seconds in 1 lap. The soft, that's the crazy difference. I mean, they were pretty much even on pace early on, and now he's caught up 3 seconds in 1 lap thanks to the softs compared to the mediums. As Gomet Cup takes P3 away from Sean Mull, Aldrich passes Fulolol for P5. No answer from Fulolol, as you would expect. He has a tire disadvantage right now, so no real chance for him to fight back and get this P5 back. But let's have a look at the penalties. 8 seconds for Sepp, Fulolol who just got a significant time penalty, and Aldrich, so they have 5 seconds and 3 seconds. I assume. They must have gotten 5 seconds for speeding and then 3 seconds for corner cutting. Then Sean Mull and Dean as well on 3 seconds. No penalties for Sully, Gomet Cup and Deadly Mosquito. And that could be crucial for Sully. I mean, even if Dean catches him, he will not be pulling out a 3-second gap, I'm pretty sure. And that might be the difference in this race. Even if Dean gets P1 on track, Sully will have it on penalties. So Dean is in big trouble here. I mean, we can have a look at the race director and just see if Sully has 1 warning. Let's see if this is a exceeded track limits. Sully does have 1 warning for track limits, but he's still got 7 laps to go. And 2 warnings free. Aldrich has spun around at the chicane. You can see some big wing damage as well. And well, obviously it's gonna cost him P5, probably P6 as well. He definitely has to pit. I mean, look at that front wing. On the left, there is basically nothing of the actual wing left, it's just the little plank at the front. And surely we'll see him pit as Dean is right behind Sully. What has happened here? Where has Dean come from this quickly? Sully must have made a mistake as Aldrich gets a penalty for speeding the pits, but indeed he is pitting for, I assume, softs and a fresh, new front wing. Dean is now right behind Sully. He's caught up to him. What has happened to Sully? Has he made a mistake, or has Dean actually just caught up to him without me noticing? But Dean is now falling back once again, almost a full second behind Sully. Who will come out on top here? 7 laps to go. This could now be very, very interesting between these two. They were so close in qualifying, and once again in the race, they're having the fight. They both want this race win. But who can take it home? Obviously, Dean has the disadvantage of all the tires. He has the disadvantage of the time penalty. But he has the advantage of DRS right now. Opening up that DRS. Will he be able to make a move into turn 1? Is he close enough? 6/10 again. I believe he is a bit too far back. And he will have to wait for the next lap to go for moves. Aldrich now has been lapped by them. Aldrich now a lap down on the 2 race leaders. And they actually have a 25-second gap for Gomet Cup. Sully and Dean in a league of their own today. Nobody can touch them at this point in time. I mean, these two are driving absolutely perfectly. Pretty much no mistakes from either of them this race we've seen. I mean, the spin at turn 1 was more of a racing incident. I wouldn't really say it was a mistake from Dean or from Sully causing the spin of Dean. So, at least from what I could see from the spectator cam. So now Dean is chasing down Sully. 5/10 or a bit less than 5/10 in between them. This could be a crucial moment in the race. Dean has to get past as early as possible if he wants to pull out a gap as well. And he's now right behind. Look at that gap. 2/10 between them. They are so close. Practically nothing separating the two. Sully at his home Grand Prix, obviously. The Italian here at Imola. Yellow flags in sector 1, but we can't look at this right now as Dean is going for a move round here outside into second class corner. but he can't pull it off. He's waiting for the main straight, perhaps. I was seeing some DRS games being played as Dean goes clean around the outside of Sully, and he has the DRS as well. Dean ahead, and he has DRS. This could be crucial. Dean now has all the cards in his hand. He needs to pull out the 3-second gap in 5 laps. Will Sully be able to stay in DRS range? If he will, Dean has no chance. If Sully can keep up, Dean cannot pull out the 3-second gap, I'm pretty sure. Because getting out of DRS range is so difficult. Even more so in Formula 2, because you don't have any ERS to play with. So you can maybe save, what we do in F1 is just save the ERS, try to make the move when using as little ERS as possible, then use the ERS to get out of DRS range. But obviously, not having ERS in F2 makes it impossible. There is just your raw pace, you're just driving. That's what I really like about F2 as well, it's just driving. There's no management of fuel, because you get loads of, you can't change the fuel load and you get so much extra fuel, so you're not managing the fuel, you can just go as fast as you want. You don't have to manage an ERS, you just drive. And I think that's really nice. This Grommet Cup is spun at Villeneuve, and that's gonna cost him the podium. Sean Moore up into P3, Grommet Cup. Well, still the front wing damage. Now on, when he's got gravel on his tires as well, that won't be happening. Seb has actually been in the pit lane for a new front wing. And Sully has stayed in the RS range to Dean. And yeah, I think this might be it for Dean. He, well, unless he can somehow, well, he's actually pretty close to putting out a 1-second gap, so maybe he can, as he puts in the fast lap of the race. Dean, he wants this race win. I mean, that would be quite the comeback to still win the race after his spin at turn 1. Or even the P2. I mean, he can be very happy with this race, no matter where he finishes. If he wins the race or not, this Grommet Cup gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings received. 7/10 the gap between the two in the front. These two are actually the only ones. I mean, you can see the gaps between the rest of the field. They are massive. It's just these two, but they are inseparable right now. Sully is staying in DRS range, but now he's almost dropped outside. Dean is really pushing, trying to get him out of DRS, because that would be maybe the turning point of the race. Once he's out of DRS, it will be much easier to pull out a gap. So will Dean be able to do it? Yellows in Sector 3 up ahead of them. That might be for Deadly Mosquito. Grommet Cup is spinning over as well! Going out of turn 2. Losing P4 as well, the full load. Grommet Cup really struggling with the car at the moment. Just keeps on spinning. And now the gap is at 1 second. This is crucial. Dean has done it. We've got a 1-second gap between them. No DRS for Sully on the main straight. Unless Sully can find some pace on the next lap, Dean has got him out of DRS range. And once he does that, he can start pulling the gap. He needs 2 more seconds in 4 more laps. Who will come out on top here at Imola? This will be a really close finish, I believe. Whoever takes on the win would definitely deserve it. It's obviously Sully having controlled most of the race in P1, and Dean with that awesome comeback after being spun around at turn 1, facing the wrong way and still coming back to lead and potentially win the race. But he does have to pull out a 3-second gap because of his penalty. Will he be able to manage it? Will he be able to win the race? 1.6 seconds a gap. We're gonna keep an eye on that gap. We're gonna go and watch Dean at work. See if he is potentially taking some different lines to Sully, and I believe he definitely is. You can see him taking a bit more curb through there. As we've got the spinning car, Grommet Cup once again, he's in the barrier this time as well. Does he have wing damage? We can't get a good camera angle. He does have more wing damage and he's pitting. Pitting for fresh tires. And indeed, Dean is pulling away further. Sully cannot get back into DRS range. They will now lap Grommet Cup as well. They will have the entire field apart from Fullalol and Sean Moore lapped. That is crazy. And there we go, Grommet Cup a lap down. What tire is he going on to? Soft tires. Could be going for a fast lap of the race, but he will have to beat Dean's lap, which is a 25.398, which is half a second faster than anyone else. I'm not sure he will be able to achieve that. As Dean gets another penalty. Another time penalty for Dean. And surely that's it. Surely he has no chance now. I mean, 6 seconds. He cannot pull 4 seconds, or yeah, 4 seconds, 4.2 seconds in the span of 2.5 laps. That could be the nail in the coffin for Dean. Or sorry, the nail in the coffin. My English pronunciation is suffering at the moment. I'm trying to get words out faster than I can think. So yeah, Dean, he might be pulling away here, but it doesn't seem to matter. Unless Sully gets a penalty, Sully has this in the bag. I don't see any way in which Dean can pull out that much time in so little race left to go. As he goes into the final corner, just 2 more laps to go after he finishes this one. He is increasing the gap, he is very, very fast. I mean, you can see visually the gap getting bigger, both on the delta on the left hand side and on the actual distance between the cars as well. You can see on the TV camera. But I don't think Dean has this in him. Sully has made a mistake there. You can definitely see Sully just lost quite a bit of time compared to Dean. About a second going through the, or maybe half a second going through the first corner. Well, if he keeps that up, that could be danger. Dean, he has pulled off 3 seconds. That would be so frustrating. He would win this race if he hadn't gotten the second penalty. He would have won. Government Cup with another 3-second time penalty. He's now on 6 seconds. Aldrich on 11. But I don't think any of those penalties will change anything. The only penalty changing anything is Dean's right now. Unless he manages to find either 2.2 seconds in 1 lap, or well, maybe 1.5, 1 and a bit, or Sully gets a penalty. Yellow flags. Once again, Government Cup has spun. He is really, really struggling with this track at the moment, and there comes Deadly Mosquito, taking P7 away from him. This Government Cup is now being lapped by Fullalol as well. .2 seconds going into the final lap. That would be... It's probably just too much for Dean to be able to pull out that much of a gap. It looks like Sully is on his way, but we are on the last lap. Anything can happen. 1 more lap of racing to go. This is not over yet. Sully is definitely in a good position, but he can't throw it away. He has to stay consistent. He has to keep it on the track. And then he will win the race. He's got it on penalties. He's got a pretty big buffer. He can slow down as well. He can be calm. Just avoid getting warnings. Avoid a spin. That would be so devastating. Yellow flags in Sector 3 once again. Gromit Cup. Yeah, he is not happy. He's not gonna be happy with this race. I mean, this has been an absolute disaster for Gromit Cup. As we still see Sully and Dean on the last lap. 4.4 seconds. In terms of the gap, Sully has nothing to worry about. He's got the gap. Gromit Cup in the pit lane is spared 5-second penalty. And he's retired from the session. I mean, it was 1 more lap, mate. You might have just continued on. 1 more lap. You could have even gotten yourself lapped and you wouldn't have had to retire. But there we go. Dean will cross the line in first place. But it doesn't matter. He has 6 seconds of penalties. And it will be Sully taking home the win here at Imola at his home Grand Prix. What a race between those two. Sully wins ahead of Dean. But an awesome comeback from Dean as well. He can be very, very proud of himself for what he has done in this race. Well, I would say what the championship standings are after this race, but the Discord servers are down right now, so I can't actually check the standings. So yeah, apologies for that. So we won't, I don't know who the champion is now. And there we go, Sean Mull brings home P3. Aldrich and Seb are already over the line in P5 and 6. Deadly Mosquito will finish in P7, he's the next car across the line. And then we've got Gromit Cup, Jules Valentine and KSA having DNF, but they will still be getting points. Deadly Mosquito taking home P7. And Fullalol will be in P8. We actually got the fast lap in the end. Was it Dean? It was Dean with the fast lap as Fullalol goes across the line, taking home P4 and 12 points for the team. Sean Moole gets Draft Day award from the game, but I have to give it to Dean. I mean, well, I guess he went from P2 to P2, but it really doesn't tell. That really doesn't tell the whole story. Dean has been, yeah, he's an awesome race. But Sully, you can't take anything away from him as well. First win of the season for him, and he's taking it in style. And maybe he's taken championship lead as well. I'm not sure if he was close enough to Dean to be able to hold him. He had the pole as well. So Sully takes 29 points from this race, while Dean takes 20. And there we go. Full race classifications. I hope you enjoyed the race here at Imola. We'll be back at Imola in a few days on Saturday for the Formula 1 race, and then next week, what race is it next week after Imola? I know, I should know. Brazil. It's Brazil. So yeah, next week we will have the Brazilian Grand Prix in F2, and obviously on Saturday we will have the Imola Grand Prix in Formula 1. Right, I hope you enjoyed the stream, and I hope to see you again on Saturday for F1 and on next Tuesday for Formula 2. Bye bye.